Hello, welcome to People in Perspective. My name is Jose Lemon, and with me is Officer Jon Walley from the North Riverside Police Department. Welcome, it's an honor to have you.
Thanks for having me.
So, how long have you been in service?
About 4 years.
And what inspired you to be a police officer?
Oh, I've wanted to be the police since I can remember. I can't say one specific thing inspired me to be the police, but growing up, I kind of saw the police, had positive interactions, and I just always wanted to be the police. So.
Right. And so, can you go through some requirements that you had to go through, like the training or the academy?
Oh yeah, in the state of Illinois, before you go to the police academy, you have to be hired by a department. So you can't just sign up for the police academy and say, "Hey, I'm here. I want to do this." You have to go through the hiring process for each specific department, and that can be quite complicated. There's there's a written test portion, physical agility. Then you pass that, maybe there's an oral interview typically, and then you go from there to psychological tests, background checks. They put you in a chair like this. Even more nervous than I am now.
Yeah.
You put in a chair and they hook you up to a lie detector, a polygraph machine, and that's an interesting experience. But after that, you're given you go through a medical test. You're given a conditional offer of employment by your respective department, at which time they'd send you to the academy.
So, after going through all that and getting a job, what is your daily life like? When you go to the station, you get prepped up. What do you do as your protocol, you can say?
Okay, so I can't speak for all police departments. I just I work for North Riverside, and with our department, we have 3 separate shifts. So we don't close. There's always police working. There's always we're always out on the street. There's always someone in our dispatch center. So I work the afternoon shift, which is 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. And we're required to be in uniform, ready to go at roll call at 2:45. So typically, I get to work about 2:15. Head in, shave and get in my uniform, do my hair up a little bit, and then we go to what's called the roll call room before the day shift comes in, and the shift supervisor will give sort of a presentation about, presentation, more of a warm-up. This is what we got going on, any current events or anything particular that may have happened over the past shift, or if you were off the past few days, they'll catch you up on that kind of stuff and go over we have daily trainings that we do. From there, we'd go, after roll call, we'd go out on the street and resume our patrol duties, which, ranges from making proactive police, making traffic stops, to responding to calls, which can be anything from a lost dog to murder or a armed robbery.
So, as equipment-wise, have you ever worked with the dogs, or anytime you get a new patrol car or any type of equipment?
Yeah, unfortunately, the Village of North Riverside, we don't have a canine unit. However, we work closely with surrounding communities like, Riverside, Berwyn, and Forest Park. One of my good friends is a canine officer for Forest Park. He lives in North Riverside, so he is usually able to respond to any sort of incident where we may need a canine.
And then what role do you play as an individual for the community, as an officer, but do you volunteer outside of the...
I'm part of our Police Benevolent Association, which it's like a community based, I would say I wouldn't say it's a community based, it's not a non-for-profit, but we do a lot of outreach work. We send officers to law enforcement torch run, and I don't know if you're familiar with the Easter egg hunt we do in town every year. We do a community Easter egg hunt in the Village of North Riverside at the Commons for the young kids, and we do Night at the Races, and we raise money for various charitable foundations.
And if you can speak, what would be the most interesting or out of place call you ever had to respond to?
I can think of one circumstance. Being the police, you're the person, you're the resource the community has in case of an emergency, right? And unfortunately, there are a lot of dangerous drugs and people committing crimes. I would say the craziest call I had to respond to was there was a subject who was on PCP who had stripped down naked and was running through the mall over there, and I had to encounter that subject, and with the help of the security officers there, we had got the situation under control without using force. So
Well,
that's usually the object.
Yeah.
The objective.
So, the last question would be, what is your advice to any upcoming officers that might want to go down the path?
Like I said, first off, I told you that I really don't remember. I always wanted to be the police, right? So I would say the most important thing is dedication. Like you can't, if you want to become the police, it's very competitive. Okay, there's hundreds of people that'll come out, like I mentioned about testing before. Hundreds of people will come out and test for maybe 1 or 2 positions, if that. And you have to be 100% dedicated. You can't be like, I don't know if I want to do this. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. You have to be 100% dedicated. And with that, it comes a lot more. You can't, on your own personal time, you have to act basically like a police officer would act. Even before you are one, you have to, not commit crimes, right? Don't steal anything, don't do drugs, and just kind of, I would say for anyone that's interested in this job, you have to be dedicated and, have a good outlook on life, positive outlook on your community, and don't get caught up in, doing drugs or stealing or nothing like that, because really, that's what we can't do that kind of stuff.
You have to have your own clean record before you can get
Right,
involved,
exactly. I mean, we understand everyone makes mistakes. However, if you're doing bad stuff, you can't be the police at the same time. So there's you have to hold yourself to a higher standard before you actually wear the badge.
So as I can see, you enjoy your job every moment as being a police officer in the community. And as a recruit, was that one of the biggest achievements in your life?
The biggest achievement, yes, absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that wraps it up. My name's Jose Lemon. This is People with Perspective with Jon Walley. So again, it's been an honor having you. All right.
It's been fun.
So
I'm more nervous now than I usually am on the street.
yeah. So.